All right, shout out to FanDuel, the official sponsor of the show that's brought to you by FanDuel. And shout out to you guys for being in the building. Much love to the Who Dat Nation, the TSC and Patreon supporters. Much love to you guys. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. And by all means, feel free to share the show on your social media feed. We talking Saints, man. Here we go. Jeff Duncan had some stuff that he was saying earlier, and this is the reporter from NOLA.com, and and this is the guy that kind of pissed off Mike Thomas. He said some stuff about, remember he wrote an article, we covered it a long time ago about it's time to get rid of Mike Thomas, is not under contract, all this kind of stuff. And every now and again these articles pop up, like in a slow season and stuff happens like this, just the kind of thirsty writing that draw attention or create a spark for whatever reason, because it's a slow news cycle as far as Saint content is concerned. So this is merely a tactic that's being utilized. But he made mention of a topic is someone has to say it's time for the Saints and Alvin Kamara to part ways, which is an incredibly foolish comment to make based on the fact the Saints do not have a legitimate second running back that is as reliable as Alvin Kamara. Alvin Kamara has done nothing wrong. This is one of these things we continue to say about the team. When the team does something very bad, we got to hammer them. I know I hammer them when they do something negative. What happened with the scandal, the church scandal. I hammered them to death. A lot of the other people were silent about it. But this thing with the Alvin Kamara situation doesn't really make any sense. Alvin Kamara deserves the right to finish his career with the team. He has 1 year remaining on the contract. Anytime the Saints asked him to take pay cuts to help the team, he did it before. And all of a sudden, the team, in particular, Slick Mick Loomis, has an issue with Alvin Kamara. He's done nothing wrong. He's done absolutely nothing wrong. He has 1 year remaining on his contract, and all he's trying to do is finish. The team, Slick Mick, has not approached him about taking a pay cut. He's sending kites through the press about trying to do all this. And it's just unprofessional. But nonetheless, I calls it as I see it. Kamara's done nothing wrong, and he's holding all of the cards in this type of situation. But anyway, let's kind of go into what Jeff Duncan is, whatever he's talking about in this article, that he says all good things must come to an end. The Beatles broke up. Tom Brady ran his court. What is this guy doing anything? But he said it's shocking if Saints happened with Alvin Kamara and the Saints. In fact, you could argue that parting ways might be in the best interest of the star running back and the team that drafted him 9 years ago. Through a release of trade, Kamara would get a chance to end his stellar career by chasing a ring with a Super Bowl contender and finding a larger role on the field. Not everybody LeBron James, bro. Not everybody LeBron James. Most of these guys, they like what they're doing. They think that they can get a ring here. Who's to say that the Saints don't win a championship this year? Who's to say? Who's to say that? We've seen the New England Patriots, a Tom Brady-less, Bill Belichick-less Patriot team ran by the very loose hands of Mike Vrabel, take them on a weak schedule last year to the bowl. They got trounced down by Seattle. But nonetheless, you can't take the fact that that team was one of the most surprising teams to make a Super Bowl. They ran last year. Who's to say the Saints can't make the same trek? With Kamara out of the picture, the Saints could hand the backfield keys to Travis Etienne and give more snaps to their stable of young reserve backs. Devin Neal, who's coming off injury, Kendra Miller, who's always hurt, and Aldrick Estime, who is a good running back. I just don't see him as a complement back at this stage right now. It might not be the ending either side envisioned 2 years ago when Kamara signed a 2-year, $24.5 million contract extension, but there are certain worse ways for a relationship to end. I realize this will not be a popular opinion. That's why you're writing it. You're writing it just to get notoriety. That's all this is. Kamara is the leading rusher in Saints history and one of the most popular players to wear the black and gold. He's been voted as a team captain twice by his peers, blah, blah, blah. And, whatever. But DeMario, another Saints legend, noted earlier this year, the good times roll for only so long, and sometimes it's best to move on. He moved on because they paid him. They had another team that came with a 2-year agreement and gave him more money than the Saints was going to offer him. This time feels like it's the time has come for Kamara and Saints, just as it did for many other greats. Aaron Rodgers, the Pat. What are you talking? All these weird comparisons. They ain't got nothing to do with nothing. Alvin Kamara has 1 year remaining on his contract. He's not going. He's finishing as a compliment to Travis Etienne, who got a $48 million contract. So I mean, he's a compliment back. It's nothing to it. So it don't even approach it from a stance of money. It just says you just got to get rid of him, right? So after signaling a change of guard by Travis Etienne outside of free agency, the Saints were careful to give Kamara his space and have since treated him with respect due a player at his profile and pedigree. Really? By constantly questioning whether or not he's on the team, even though they know he got a contract, by saying, I'm trying to figure out where he fit, even though he has a contract, he hadn't said anything controversial. Is that treating him fairly? At a profile as a player, at his pedigree is the Saints' greatest rusher. You would not dare treat Alvin Kamara this way if it really was what it was. I mean, he earned the right to finish the way he's supposed to. He's the team's leading rusher. He carries many records and distinctions. Just like Cam has a right to go out the way he's got. He earned the right. He did more than most players do. He performed more than most players did. So he earned the right. So no, Mickey Loomis is not treating him as fairly as he's supposed to be treating him. It's just that's not true. That's crazy, man. He would say this in this article. He would literally write this. Saints were careful to give Kamara his space and have since treated him with respect. Do a player of his profile and pad. That's simply not the truth. The optics are all wrong. I've been saying this all. See how people eyes work. See how the thought process, vision, and all this kind of stuff work. You see how it work. How radically different people approach things and mentality. Logically speaking, he knows that's not the truth. That was what Mickey Loomis is doing, is sending messages through the media about him taking pay cuts and not directly approaching him or his leadership or his representatives is respect. He says, I don't know where any of this is coming from. Kamara said that. Not to mention what Tyrann Mathieu mentioned, that he thinks he's dealing in bad faith. So no, I don't agree with that at all. As of last week, they had yet to approach him about a pay cut, and it's unclear. So how is it respect then? It's unclear whether they will do so before training camp starts next month. They probably will approach him because they need him. That they approach him. Now he can say yes or no to it. It's his prerogative, but that's not respect for how they handle it. The Saints always do nothing and elect to live. The Saints always could do nothing and elect to live with Kamara's deal, which makes him the 9th highest paid back in the league, above even A-Chain. The man is slotted to backup. Kamara, $10.5 million salary cap, is the 6th highest among backs in the league, and has led to multiple outlets to rank him as one of the most overpaid players in the league this offseason, which he is making more money than his starter, the Saints' potential starter. But the reality is that's a contract the Saints agreed upon. The Saints agreed upon all of this. This was Mickey Loomis. Then now all of a sudden is Alvin Kamara's problem. Remember, the reworking and extensions of the deals, all this kind of stuff was agreed upon by the Saints. So where do we get here now that it's a problem? It wasn't a problem a couple of years ago when he was kicking the can. Now all of a sudden it's a problem. You see what I'm saying? Alvin Kamara did nothing but put pen to paper. Now last year he struggled with injuries and stuff like that. But truth be told, when you break down the numbers and watch the games like we did here all the time, I watched them 2 or 3 times, watching every game at least 3 times. And what I seen was, in many of these games, the Saints did not provide lanes for Alvin Kamara to run to. He'll always hit the hole and meet the linebacker in the hole. It'll be a hard pickup of 2 yards. Guys wasn't blocking correctly early. And then toward the middle of the year, when these things started to pick up, he got hurt because it's a physical game. He got banged up. But nonetheless, regardless of not, he had an off season. And the contract was signed, it was put before him a couple of years ago on the extension by Mickey Loomis. He agreed on it. Now, the crazy part about it, if Mickey doesn't like it, stop sending kites through the press and go to his representatives and ask him for the pay cut and live on what he tell you. If he tell you yay or nay, if he says yay, you cool. If he says no, I'm gonna keep my money or whatever, however it goes, then that's fine too. But the bottom line is all this was agreed upon by Mickey Loomis and the Saints. And all of a sudden it's an Alvin Kamara issue. Man, come on, man. It's this is it doesn't make any sense. So the Saints always could do nothing or elect to live with Kamara's deal, which makes him the highest paid guy, whatever. Paid back in the league. Even if he slotted this as backup, there's no guarantees in this. Even if Travis Etienne, God forbid, goes into the season, injuries are a part of the game. It's a part of the game. We know with Chris Olave, that's why we have all this depth. You cannot be for certain if you got a running back as good as Alvin Kamara. The best thing Mickey Loomis could do, optically speaking, is go to his representatives and ask them to take a reduction in pay. If he does, then that helps you out. But remember, the Saints avoided even talk to him. Mickey Loomis used the Deion Sanders provision on his contract, which they didn't need his permission to do. They just used the Deion Sanders provision to take off a chunk of change off his initial contract. And then that made them, because they utilized the provision according to the rules, they could not use the post June 1st cut on Alvin Kamara because they used the Deion Sanders provision to chop down some of the annual already. Now you want more money. You got to approach him. Mickey Loomis doesn't appear like, to me, that Mickey Loomis, he's doing all this in an attempt to not talk to Alvin. And Alvin is not going to just decide voluntarily to just give up, take a reduction in pay. He's protected by the CBA. He's protected by the contract. The Saints have backed themselves into a corner, and they have to live with this. We'll see how they handle it, too, because they got to get something cracking and popping for Chris Olave's deal. So anyway, while the Saints never have cared about optics, they rarely overlook fiscal profitability. Come on. They never care. Yeah, they do care about optics. Well, Gail does care about optics. It was the optics of the Who Dat Nation leading boycotts that forced Dennis Allen out the door. If she didn't care about optics, she wouldn't care about that. So the same measurement from the Pelican side to force Willie Green out of the door and force them to reset. That was the Who Dat Nation doing that. So I don't agree with that. They definitely care about optics. Who doesn't care about optics running a business where they're taking other people's money? They're in a business to market to you so you come and pay them so they can keep paying their bills, keep paying their stuff so they can stay afloat. Yeah, they care about optics. They always did. The Who Dat Nation is not a dumb fan base or a supporter base who just going to just empty money into you, even if you're not showing them anything. A lot of us is not like that. We will withdraw money. That's what you're supposed to do. Pull your money out of something that's not respecting you, respecting your energy. You pull back and they'll clean up. We've seen it happen over and over again. All that stuff that they created this league for, and they're talking about all this fan nonsense and all this type of stuff. They got some few people that's batshit crazy about it, but in the end, a great deal of people are going to withdraw. If they feel like the people that they're supporting is not respecting their mind, they're going to pull out. They're going to pull that money back, that support back, and they're supposed to. That's how we keep them honest. And there's nothing wrong with utilizing that power. I've said that countless times on this show. So far, everyone has played nice publicly and maintain respectful professional approach to the situation, but there's no denying the vibe between the sides have been off throughout the offseason. There is no vibe off between Alvin Kamara. Alvin Kamara is under contract. He's not having any issues at all. Everything that you're talking about is Mickey Loomis. Mickey Loomis is the one that's handling this all wrong. A quiet disconnect has brewed, but behind the scenes creating an undercurrent of uncertainty. And there's no uncertainty here. There's no uncertainty. It ain't a damn thing Mickey Loomis can do about it. Now, he can release him and get that major cap hit that he'll pick up next year, or he can just ask him to take a pay cut. This ain't nothing. This is one freaking dude doing all of this, and it's not Alvin Kamara. Kamara's decision to, again, not participate in the offseason program and only offseason program is voluntary. Is voluntary, brother. It did not exasperate. See, this is what people don't like this guy. This guy is purposefully throwing stuff in there. That's not true. That's why Mike Thomas said this guy, you be writing that BS. And I think they laughed about him attitude. They had a Twitter post where people kind of, rap down on him because he do this bullshit right here. These flimmy stuff this bad information game. Sitting up here trying to paint the Saints in a positive light, like both sides are embroiled in something when that's totally not true. That's not true at all. Alvin Kamara don't have a problem with the Saints. He's under contract, protected by his agreement. The Saints did what they did outside of contacting them. This is not an Alvin Kamara problem. The Saints signed this deal with him a couple of years ago, and the guy Loomis is not approaching him optically to ask him directly can you take a pay cut, as opposed to sending this stuff through the mail, or sending it through the media rather. So he's trying to pretend like they did everything professionally. They totally off code. They are being the Saints. So Kamara's decision to, again, not participate in off-season program only exacerbate things, didn't exacerbate a damn thing. That's a lie. Those off-season programs are voluntary, and Kamara every year, exercises on his own. Every year. He's been doing this for years. And he popped in this time just because of the new teammates and stuff like that. He came in and showed him. He came to one of the voluntary things. But that's the player's option. You cannot discredit them or say whatever it is about a player if it's their decision to work out with you or work out by themselves. It is voluntary. It's not mandatory. If it was mandatory, then you have a point. It is not. So a quiet disconnect. So once again, he says he was largely out of communication with the team officials, unlike Nate Shepard, who kept in constant contact with the team after being excused from workouts because of a personal matter. First and foremost, they could have gotten contact with Alvin Kamara anytime they wanted to. It was voluntary. He hadn't broken any rules here. No rules have been broken. While the conditioning program and organized team activities are technically volunteer work, that's exactly the point. His absence was conspicuous on a team where 54 players had 100% participation. That's still voluntary. All in mindset had to been adopted in year 2 of Kellen Moore era. Is still voluntary, man. Alvin going to work out by himself is not hurting nobody. It's noteworthy that other team captains, Eric McCoy, Justin Reed, Zach Wood, have all been participants this offseason. Still voluntary. As unrestricted free agent, Cam Jordan was not under contract with the Saints at the time. Kamara's surprise one-day visit during the final week of OTAs caught many in the building off guard and was seen as a publicity stunt by some. How is it a publicity stunt? He came in and worked out. He don't care about that sort of thing. To no one's surprise, Kamara was gone the next day. It wasn't a publicity stunt. Kamara doesn't do anything for anybody. He does things because he wants to. He's not trying to create no publicity. He good. That's not Kamara's character. That's not even how he operates. This approach works fine when you lead the pack and making Pro Bowls, but not so much when you're a backup coming off a kind of injury-plagued, non-productive campaign Kamara had. You gonna throw any of his teammates in there with him? The guys that's supposed to block for him? He's supposed to hit the holes and run over the people all by himself. What's his name? What's the man's name? Ryder. Kamara told reporters he wants to play for the Saints this season, and he has no beef with the team, but his actions have indicated something different. No, they haven't. It's all led to awkward song and dance routine where you watch play out. There's none of this. You're making all of this up. Nowhere was it more pronounced than the team's recent minicamp where Kamara was held out of the team drill as part of the team ramp-up process. Curious strategy given his presumed health and should be fresh from the all-season sabbatical. He watched team drills from the sideline with Etienne, took the first team reps and estimate Ty Chandler sub with the reserve units. Okay, so what, man? So what? I guarantee you when the time comes for him to get the reps, he's going to be there. Seeing Kamara excluded from offensive rotations looked odd, felt strange. He said, brought to mind Charles Jefferson come on, bro. You're really showing your edge on that too. In a way, Kamara's career is already in the lanyard stage. His 9-year tenure already has wildly exceeded expectations, especially when you consider his modest third-round status. And he became the Saints' #1 running back. Drafted the 27th selected running back of the 2017 draft and became the Saints' best running back of all time. You can't take that away from him, can you? Right? With his original team. Former draft classmates Leonard Fournette, Dalvin Cook have been out of the league for years. So you can't take that away from him. It'll be interesting to see how Kamara's situation plays out. It's possible the sides get together and reach an amicable resolution. The resolution is that Mickey Loomis stop acting like a you know what and go to Kamara directly and ask him to take a pay cut. It's also possible Saints part ways before training camp, as noted. That might not be the worst outcome in the world. It's not going to happen, man. Neither side is to blame. It just feels like it's just time. It's no time. You need his running back acumen right now. If you're trying to make a step like that, Alvin Kamara is the perfect player to mentor these other running backs. This is pure nonsense. It's pure nonsense, an attempt to play the Saints like they smelling like roses when all of this is put out there by Mickey Loomis, who refuses to go to Alvin Kamara directly and ask him to take a pay cut. He wants it. That's, you know what it basically is, fam? It's a favor. Mickey Loomis wants Alvin Kamara to do him a favor. He wants him to do a solid. Alvin, can you do me a solid and take this pay cut right here because I need this money right here so I can pay Chris Olave. That's what the holdup is. I told people that a long time ago. I was like, fam, the reason why you ain't seen Chris Olave get signed is because his way to do it is to get Alvin to take a pay cut and he'll funnel some of that money through Chris Olave. And one deal is connected to the next. The only issue is Alvin has the right to say no. And Mickey Loomis can't do nothing about him. He can't cut him because if he cuts him, he gets that cap hit. And the fact of the matter is you severely weaken your running back room because no disrespect to the other running backs in the running back room. If I have access to my best running back in Saints history and he's still healthy enough where he can come and help me, then guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to keep him on the team. I'm going to keep him on the team. That's why the Sports Coma is so popular because it tells it like it is. We can't be letting all these people sit up here and create this fairy tale. This man just wrote a whole fiction book. He created two adversaries when there are none. There's no adversaries. Mickey Loomis is immature. He used the Deion Sanders provision on Alvin Kamara's contract because he did not want to approach him directly. Then he sent messages through the media. I mean, I don't know how to paint it even clearer than that as a person who don't want to have a dialogue with somebody. Where you gonna send kites through the mail, through the media to Alvin Kamara, and he knows, he hears it, and you know what he gonna do? I don't know what he's talking about. That's because that's not a mature way to handle it. You have to go directly to the player and ask him. He don't want to do it. He don't want to ask Alvin Kamara for a favor because he knows that the cards are in Alvin Kamara's favor. And I told y'all that you know he's not going to accept the trade, so you ain't gonna be able to trade him. You know, if you try to trade him, he's going to just retire, so you get no value there. You can't really cut him because you don't get any money back this year to help you toward any real serious money. It's like $300,000 or something like that. That's nothing compared to what you really want to have if you're trying to do a Chris Olave deal. Plus, it severely weakens you from the running back standpoint. Travis Etienne is the feature back, but then there are issues behind the running back position. Devin Neal coming off injury. He's still a young player. Kendra Miller can't stay healthy. Then you have Audric Estime, who's a good running back, but nonetheless, Audric Estime is not a guy that you would see a complimentary back, more still at this stage, a third back. And Ty Chandler is more of a third down situational guy as well, a running back out of the backfield. So regardless or not, those are, you know, good runners to a degree, but Alvin Kamara is still shoulders above those guys. And having a Travis Etienne, Alvin Kamara backfield, you know, it looks and feels better because, you know, if injuries start hitting the Saints at the running back room, are you going to be fine with Devin Neal and Kendra Miller as the guys? I don't think so. If Alvin Kamara is still on this team, then you have to be there to utilize him. Cutting him, you don't get any money this year for that. So you won't be able to use any $300,000 toward a 30 plus, what is it, $33-34 million deal he's trying to put together annually per season. 30 plus million with 33 to 35 plus million a year. That's not going to cut it. Plus, you weaken your running back room. They're not going to do that. Stop playing, Mickey, and go directly to Alvin's leadership or his representatives, rather, and talk to them and ask them for the cut so you can get on with it. All this is immature. This is all on the Saints. This ain't got nothing to do with Alvin Kamara. He didn't put you know what, to somebody's dome and tell them, hey, man, give me this contract. They signed that contract and gave it to Alvin Kamara because that's what they wanted to do. That's what they agreed upon. He's protected by the CBA and they don't like it. So at the end of the day, that man wrote a whole work of fiction. That whole damn thing. It was a whole work of fiction. Getting rid of Alvin Kamara ain't going to cut it, man. Leave Alvin the hell alone, man. Leave him alone and go write about somebody that's doing something that's underperforming. All right, anyway, that's what I got for y'all on this broadcast. Y'all let me know how you feel about this, man. Let me know how y'all feel about this silliness, man. Talk facts, man. Talk facts. Don't talk stupid stuff that seem like somebody need to come and put you somewhere because you're mentally ill or you suffering from dementia or something wrong, right? None of that stuff didn't make any sense. Or it just seems like time because of rich Mount High, some movie Rich Mount. Oh, come on, bro. That's not professional, man. None of that made any sense. The graph. That's why them players be getting after you like that. You like for people to stump on you like, I don't know people that's of reputable work want people to stump on them like that because they putting out crap because they work can't speak for themselves. That's a horrible look to go after Alvin. Alvin's a beloved figure on the Saints because of what he's done over time. Alvin Kamara he's the greatest Saints running back. No major scandals to speak about. None of this kind of stuff to say it's time to just split up. And when he got 1 year remaining, it don't make any sense to me. It's an attempt it's thirsty writing is pretty much what it is, in my estimations. Y'all put y'all thoughts in the comment section below and let me know what y'all think about thirsty writing. All right, anyway, 2026 regular season MVP, shout out to FanDuel Sportsbook. This is all the prop bets, all the latest numbers, +6, +750. And more. You can see all the way up to 1,400 for Jordan Love on the regular season MVP. There's also stuff WNBA, MLB, and other things. Boxing, all that stuff is at Sportsbook. For FanDuel, man, y'all can check all of that out now. All right, so with that being said, that's all I got for y'all today. Please feel free to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and tell me how y'all feel about this article, man. What do y'all think about this? Is it a case of thirsty writing or is just somebody delusional? Y'all let me know in the comment section. That's all I got for y'all today. With that being said, I'm holler at you on the next one. Much love, peace, and
Who that say they gonna beat them Saints? Who that? Who that? Who that say they gonna beat them Saints? Who that? Who that? Who that say they gonna beat them Saints? Who that? Who that?
Hey, New Orleans! Whether you're catching up on Saints news at Jackson Square, checking Pelicans scores in the Garden District, or staying updated on LSU while grabbing coffee in the French Quarter, there's one place that keeps you connected to everything that matters in our city. From Bourbon Street to the Superdome, from Preservation Hall to the Riverfront, New Orleanians are staying in the know with thehootitdaily.com. Your daily source for Saints, Pelicans, LSU, and all the sports, music, and culture that makes our city special. At work downtown, at a game in the Dome, or just relaxing by the Mississippi, wherever life takes you in the Big Easy, you can stay connected. Because when you're from New Orleans, you don't just live here. You stay in the NO. That's stay in the know. Visit the WooDatDaily.com and never miss what matters most to Who Dat Nation.
Welcome to the Pro Shop, where we create authentic NOLA-inspired clothing for men, women, and children. From Saints jerseys to Pelicans gear, everything's crafted right here in New Orleans. Whether you're shopping the Pro Shop, the Pel Shop, or the Pro Shop Kids, we've got your whole family covered with genuine merchandise that represents our city's spirit. Check for links in the description section below or in the chat.